What's up with you guys? Welcome to this edition of Talking Cowboys. Pretty much talking anything Dallas Cowboys related. Sorry for the delay. Being a Cowboy member of this Cowboy family, I have what's called KIDs. Those are called kids. So every now and then I have to attend to those. So I apologize for the late delay, guys. But I just want to jump right into the questions that I already had already. For my man that I seen already up on the screen, I appreciate you guys for waiting. Sorry about that. First question that I saw was basically you guys were asking about the cornerbacks. In my opinion, right now, our cornerback depth is you got Scandrick. You got right behind Scandrick, you're going to have depth charted. You're going to have Carr. Then you're going to have Claiborne. Then right behind Claiborne, what's up with you guys? What's up with you guys? What's up with you guys? Right behind Claiborne, in my opinion, you're going to have, now they have the Thomas kid, but in my opinion, I think it's going to be this Anthony Brown kid. And I speak very, very highly of him simply because he's a way more physical. When it comes to physicality, you would think he'd be in the SEC somewhere because this guy can definitely take on running backs, and he can definitely, I know when you guys hear about DBs, that's the last thing you want to hear about is him taking on running backs. But I'm going to be honest with you. In our scheme, our DBs had better be able to tackle. You know what I mean? That's just being real. But most importantly, the kid had 4 interceptions last year. Not to say anything, but 3 of them did come in the same game. But that within itself is a pretty amazing feat. You know what I mean? But, you know, one thing that I like about this kid is he has an amazing speed. And if you look at a lot of times the way offenses are built right now, there usually goes like this. On most offenses, especially when you're talking about wide receiver cores, most wide receiver goes like this, except for Pittsburgh, where they're just weird. Their wide receiver is just, it's unfair. It's on Madden style. And ours is that way too if we can get some key guys to step up. But let me just break it down how most wide receiver cores break down, right? You have your possession receiver who's going to be your number 1 threat. That's always going to be in the eye socket of the quarterback. So in our, Tony Romo is right here, so you're always typically going to have Dez line up on this side. Sometimes he will line up on this side, but you're going to have your possession guy right here, right? Then on the other side, you're gonna have kind of like your T-Will guy that's supposed to be able to take the top off the defense. You know what I'm saying? And then in the middle of that offense, you're gonna have your slot guy. Now your slot guy is usually gonna be kind of like a hybrid of both these guys. He's not necessarily gonna be the fastest wide receiver on your team, but one thing most important to you is he's gonna be the most elusive wide receiver on the team, because you got to remember when it comes football is all about levels and the tight. But right behind him is going to be that slot receiver, which in our case is Beasley. So your third string cornerback, who is in essence your slot cornerback. You want this guy to be you want him to be very, very good as far as technique. And if his technique isn't the best, you want him to be fast. Why? Because speed stays in front of people. You know what I mean? So that's why, in my opinion. Now, the weird thing about it is, if I'm saying that, then it almost sounds like Claiborne is almost going to be the man out this year. And in that aspect, I think they're going to let it play out. What I think the Cowboys are going to do, I think they're going to allow, don't be surprised if Orlando Scandrick, I definitely believe he's going to be our starter cornerback, for the season. But don't be surprised, like going into that first game, if they kind of ease him in on that other side. So basically putting Brandon Carr in our strong side corner position. Point blank believe the main reason you're doing this is because you got to think of it like this. Orlando Scandrick's coming back off of a knee ACL injury, right? First game of the season, we have Odell Beckham Jr. and we have Victor Cruz. And you got to remember, they just drafted that boy Shepard from Oklahoma State, and not Oklahoma State, but from OSU, from Oklahoma. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if we didn't pick Jalen in the second round, he was definitely on my chart as a guy I wanted to snag, because he is a straight beast. So I think the Cowboys, when we play the Giants, our coverage for the Giants game is going to be a little different, because I honestly think they're going to try to find a way to kind of shield Orlando Scandrick so he's not real. Because, man, first game back on the ACL, you do not want him in front of Odell Beckham Jr., and you for sure don't want him in front of Victor Cruz. So I think the first game is going to be kind of weird how we play our defensive matchup back there. But I think they're going to try to find ways to try to keep him either shaded on the inside, or when they come in through a 3-man set, they'll probably slide him down to rookie, just to see where he plays. But I mean, but you know what? Depending on how much they let him play in preseason, if they let him play a little bit in preseason, then you might be able to, yeah. See, Amaya, I can say your last name, brother. I can tell you're on your scouting because yeah, Shepard is a beast, man. So, but if you got to think about this though, you got to think about this because defense really isn't about no longer. It's not about who's your starter. It's all about matchups. That's what defense is all about nowadays. Because, when you come out, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think the Giants, since we're on the subject anyway, I think the Giants are the weirdest built team in the world because, in my opinion, they have 3 slot receivers. Odell Beckham Jr. he's a slot receiver. You know what I'm saying? He's just a very elusive, very fast slot receiver, but he's a slot receiver. Victor Cruz is a slot receiver. You know what I'm saying? Shepard is a slot receiver. You know what I'm saying? So I think that first game, when we come out, I think they're going to put Carr on the strong position, meaning basically he'll be shielding Odell Beckham Jr. And then I think they'll give Orlando the worst of 2 evils, who's ever out there. But don't be surprised if you see Claiborne. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have some faith in Carr and Claiborne because with some type of pass rush, if one of these rookies can help us out, man, you'd be amazed at how better our DBs will play if they just knew someone could get to the line. Okay, how are you feeling about Byron Jones moving to safety? I actually like the move. I almost wish we could have 2 Byron Jones because we low key, I like having the cornerback position solidified because the free safety, you got to remember, the free safety, if he's making a play, that means 10 other people didn't. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want, as much as I want a Pro Bowl free safety just flying all over the place, I'm going to be honest with you, I want Byron Jones just sitting back there calling plays because I want my defensive line really getting to him. Hopefully Claiborne will finally step up this year. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I actually think Claiborne stepped up. What is the 4th, 6th round pick we drafted him at? He's not gonna live up to that. He's not that guy. I mean, when he was coming out of Alabama, when he was coming out of LSU, he was a press corner. You know what I'm saying? And he got to the league, and guys are faster than him. He cannot stay in front of dudes. So I mean, I honestly think if Claiborne is drafted in the 2nd round, nobody would have a problem with him. But more than the fact that he was drafted in the you can't change the future. You know what I'm saying? Can't change the future on it. But I mean, if he's drafted in the 2nd round, we would be like Claiborne's a decent corner. Outside of injury. You know what I mean? Carr. One thing about Carr is the dude is gonna be at the game. He hasn't missed a game in almost 3.5 years. I would like to see our corners play with some solid pass rush because I'm going to keep it real. If you want to blame our DBs last year, 100% blame them all last year. Everything was messed up last year. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to blame the pass rush, if you're going to blame the DB play, you might as well blame the pass rush, quarterback play, everything. Because everything, when you go 4-12, everybody messed up. The water boy did not squirt the water correctly. You know what I mean? Like everything went bad. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I will say is if you look at 2014, we didn't lose that game in Green Bay because our DB play. We didn't lose that game because of DB play. We lost that game because, one, we let the rookie kept getting loose, you know what I'm saying, inside where the linebackers were, and we couldn't get no pass rush. You know what I'm saying? We had, what's the boy name?